The image tile is one of our more versatile tiles, and so we'll cover a few different ways in which our customers are using it. First things first, it's a great way to set a floating image that, for all intensive purposes, feels like the page background. But because you have a video set underneath to bring the page to life, the image tile allows you to sit your pre-designed slide with the text, buttons, etc. right over the top with opacity factored in to let the video underneath properly shine through. So we'll do this from scratch here. We'll go ahead and drag our image tile on, set it to go end to end. And then in the properties panel, I will choose to select an existing image and drag that image layer underneath my hotspots. And there you have it. Once you've set the proportions of the image tile, in the properties panel, you can also adjust the fit versus fill, which comes in handy, as well as seeing options for opacity, position and alignment, if you wanted to round the corners, give it a shadow, or add alt text. Looking at another example, image tiles are also a great way to enable hover effects. So for example, we have our main default button to go to 2025, and when we hover over, we change the colorway. So this button already exists as an asset within Tiled, which you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of the Assets panel. And you can drag those into the builder one at a time or in a group, or you can also sync them from Figma using our plugin. From here, simply drag your image asset onto the canvas to create an image tile. Once that's set, you can control the fit versus fill, the additional settings, and once you get to events, you can set up a hover. Now, you have a few different options when it comes to what you want to take place. The first would be moving and scaling the individual image. So for example, we want this to stay the same color, but maybe we want it to grow upon hover. The other option is to switch it to a different image asset completely, which you can do by selecting Image Swap. From here, you can select which image it is, and by default, we'll set it to have a fade effect. That being said, we're going to show you another cool example with a different effect. So instead of just an individual button, let's say that there are different sections within your page that you want to animate. Just like we did with the buttons, you can bring your first image asset and configure all the settings. And then we're going to have a secondary image that shows up. And instead of a fade, we're going to have it slide and bounce. Now, as we go to preview, we'll see that it gives this reveal effect to show different information. Just add a bit of movement to the page as well. Now, similarly to text tiles, if we have a hover that's set up for our image, in this case, the button, if we put a hotspot over the top, it's going to block that hover from even happening. So in the bottom of the properties panel, under events, there is a click event, which is essentially your built-in hotspot to say, we're going to link this image tile, and when clicked, it's going to go to this page or this overlay. Now, for one last example, what you're seeing on the page now is our scroll canvas or scroll tile in action, which we'll have a whole nother video on. But one last example of using the image tile is simply bringing in some type of a background pattern or background image to sit nicely behind other additional information that basically gives you kind of a backdrop for a given section or category. And so again, you can scale whatever asset that you bring in and set it to fit versus fill or adjust the opacity as well. We hope this was helpful, but if you have questions on the image tile, don't hesitate to reach out to support@tiled.co.